This is Thomas, and in this video I will talk about the 7 best talks of WWDC 2016. You can find links to all the talks in the description down below. Let's start. Talk number 1. Improving existing apps with modern best practices. This talk has a ton of very good ideas and tips. The 4 main topics are reduced technical debt, asset catalogs, dependency injection, and live playgrounds. You can learn a lot of stuff that can be applied to almost every project, so that this is, in my opinion, a talk that every iOS developer should watch. Talk number 2. What's new in Swift? What's the best thing Apple has introduced over the last few years? It's neither the Apple Watch or the iPad Pro, it is Swift. Swift has improved the whole platform, and as I've mentioned already several times before, every iOS developer should switch to Swift. So of course this talk is a very important one. It doesn't only give you an overview about Swift becoming open source and the whole Swift evolution process, but it is also an introduction to all the new Swift 3 features, like the new API naming guidelines, change parameter labeling, and the removing of the C-style for loops. And, last but not least, if you don't know it already, there is good news for all developers using Swift. Quote, source compatibility between Swift 3 and 4 is a very strong goal. Let's wait and see. Talk number 3. Making apps adaptive. Part 1 and 2. Implementing the user interface for an iOS app used to be very easy at the early time of iOS development. There was just one screen size. Over time, more and more screen sizes has been introduced, and the layout system has also changed. Now it's become quite complex and is very difficult for a beginner to get an overview. But also professional developers don't always know all the details. In these 2 talks, you'll get an overview about the whole layout system. I'm sure every iOS developer will learn something by watching these talks. Talk number 4. Debugging tips and tricks. One of the most important tasks for a developer is debugging. Xcode provides you a very feature-rich debugger. However, a lot of functionality is not obvious at first sight. By watching this talk, you will learn some interesting tricks, and you will also learn a lot about the debugger in general. Talk number 5. Protocol and value-oriented programming in UIKit apps. One of the best talks of WWDC 2015 was building better apps with value types in Swift. This talk had some kind of sequel at WWDC 2016. It's really worth the watch. You will discover some concepts that might be a little bit unusual at first, but these concepts can make your code much better. Talk number 6. Concurrent programming with GCD in Swift 3. Mobile apps have to be responsive. This is probably one of the most important guidelines in developing mobile apps. But modern apps are also very complex, so that this can be a challenge. In order to achieve this, you have to use concurrent programming. There are several ways to implement concurrent code, and Grand Central Dispatch is one of them. In Swift 3, the usage of GCD has become much more Swifty. Watch this talk to learn all the details. Talk number 7. What's new in Xcode app signing? Let's face it, app signing is a very complicated topic. But as an iOS developer, you have to deal with it. This talk gives a very good overview about the whole topic, and you will learn what has changed in Xcode 8. Thanks for watching, subscribe to this channel, and take care.